Three, two, one. Hi, I'm here with Jamie Orchard. We only have two lives. The second one begins when we realize we only have one. Confucius said that. This is the first thing you will read when you head over to Jamie Orchard's new blog. Experienced leader with a history of conveying stories that audiences remember. Jamie is a writer that inspires. She is a community activist, and she can be found giving her time to such causes as the West Highland Palliative Care, among other organizations. I want to thank you, Jamie, for all you do and for taking the time to speak to the West Island blog viewers today.
Thank you for having me, Rhonda. It's a real pleasure to be with you.
All right, sister, we have had you around and we love seeing you. We want to know where you're at. The second act is your new blog. Talk to us what's going on.
Yeah, the Second Act Project. Well, you know, and most people who watch your segment know, my first act was as anchor at Global News in Montreal. And in July, I found out that there was a decision made because of COVID that the show would now be anchored out of Toronto. And so that left me with no job, which was a shock to me because, you know, I really had dedicated everything I had to that station and that job, and the people there were my second family. And so as my doctor put it, it's grief that you're feeling because you feel a tremendous loss when you lose your job. And I thought, it's just a job. And then I realized, no, this is not just a job. It was my life and my career. And I was literally grieving. I was going through a process. And then I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to survive this, I'm not going to sit at home and do nothing. And I'm not ready to work yet because I really have to go through this process and not give my full self to somebody else yet. So I decided the blog was the way to go. I followed in your footsteps,
Yes,
Rhonda.
you did, almost exactly.
Yeah, and I just said, you know, I got a ton of messages once it was announced publicly that I was being laid off. I mean, it was overwhelming. It was so kind and so uplifting. And so many people said, I've been there. What do you need? How can I help? And I thought, I'm just going to interview these people. I'm going to start a site where I talk to people who've been there. It's going to help me. And then maybe through that process, it'll help other people who are going through it. So that's the birth of the Second Act Project, which I just launched last week after many months of wrestling with how it would look and how I'd get it out there.
And that morphs. I mean, from experience, that change over time, and we do develop our niche. And yes, I am the reason the blog exists is my Second Act Project. So I was really gravitating towards this because I have been there, and my husband's been there, and we've had, you know, ups and downs in our 30 years of marriage where, you know, business has done well, business hasn't done well. So we can reach out to you and find others that are living in the experience. So tell me how we're going to proceed to do that. Who have you interviewed? Who are you planning on interviewing?
Well, only the first story is up as we're speaking now, but I have 3 already ready to go. And I have a couple booked for next week who are, well, one is a former local celebrity, and well, both of them are actually that people know really well. But I really started with the people who had reached out to me. So the first 4 or 5 you're going to see they're all women, because originally the idea, I was going to call it Second Act Sisterhood. And then that name strangely got trademarked right when I was in the process of doing it. A legal company in Toronto trademarked Second Act Sisters. So I had to rethink it, and I went with Second Act Project. And I thought it's more inclusive that way. I can have men involved. And I think a lot of men, as they start to read these stories, will recognize they too have been through these things and need to talk about it. So
and that
the first few are women, and then men are going to be after. So
I like that. And a mistake I had made at the beginning of my blog was I had named it Beaconsfield Blog. And somebody with a lot of wisdom at the Suburban, one of the reporters there, great guy, he said, you're limiting yourself. And I couldn't see the forest for the trees. I didn't see how that could possibly be a thing. So your name is probably better this way.
Yeah.
And moving forward, what is your schedule going to be like? Are we going to be seeing you once a week or?
Yeah, I mean, so right now I'm just writing. I'm recording all of the interviews, but writing is a process for me. I love to write. It was the origins of who I am as a journalist lie in writing.
Okay.
And so I really thought, if I'm going to do something, I want to write. So right now you can read about them, but I am recording all the interviews and hope to add video and maybe do a podcast. But all of that is like, as you said, it's a process, right? And I'm in super baby stages. Yeah. But right now it's reading, and you'll see one. I'm hoping to do one a week. Maybe it'll be two some weeks, because some weeks, two people reach out to me and I think they're really fascinating. And in between, I'll just be posting, my own personal blog, which is on there as well, and what I'm going through. As we're talking today, Rhonda, it's the US election. So there's, a lot of people are in this stress mode, and I'll probably be blogging about that. So there'll be updates. I mean, if you check in once a week, you'll have enough to read on there to be
all
updated.
right. So tell me how the grief feeling goes. I've been through the grief feeling. Tell me, for me, it was very acute at first, and then it peters out, but I still have triggers depending on, like, do you feel anything triggered when you turn the TV on?
I watched the show that I used to anchor, and that was hard. And so I love all those people, like I literally love all of those people on that show, but I can't watch it. And that makes me sad because it's a great show. And, but I can't. So that triggers it. And, but I still have really good friends there who reach out to me regularly, and I can talk to them individually, but that's the only thing I really can't do right now is watch the show. And I hope that comes back, because I would like to watch that show.
And it wasn't because of the Montreal crew, so.
Not at all. My gosh, no, it's a wonderful, like all of those people at that station are wonderful. And, but it's just hard when you've put everything into something, you felt like they were your family. And of course I want them to move on and be successful, but it's hard that they move on and be successful without you, So I just, right now I'm sort of avoiding that.
Okay. So what are the things that you're doing? We're asking on a personal level. I want to know, I miss you on TV. What are you doing? Like, are you crafting? Are you baking? What's going on in your world?
I'm cooking a lot. My kids and my husband are loving that. And, it's COVID right now. So I'm very lucky to be home. My older son is home every second day from school. My younger one is at school every day. So I'm driving them to school, and, I used to drive them to school every day, but I never got to pick them up because I was always at work till 7. I was rarely home for homework and sports. And so sports is kind of canceled now, but I'm here for homework. And I'm busy. I had to learn I did my own website. That was a big thing for me. I didn't want to pay someone to do the site. So my niece has a company, and she had offered to do my site. And I said, how about you show me how to do it? And so that was more of a pain for her than I think just doing it.
Of course.
We spent 2 months, weekends and evenings on the phone, because she has a full-time job. And she showed me how to create the site. So I learned that, and I'm busy. I'm booking interviews. I don't know, Gavin Fernandez?
I do, of course.
Teresa's husband is the photographer for the site. And so Gavin and I have been shooting pictures of these women at least once or twice a week. We go on photo shoots, and I always go with them because I like to meet them in person.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been basically the site and the kids and a lot of cooking and walking the dog and meditating. I meditate. I started meditating a year ago when my mom passed away, and that helps a lot with sort of the grief as well. And yeah, everything.
You ever wonder how you fit your job into your life, considering all you're doing now?
Yes.
Where did that go? I don't know how much time.
I do actually think that, but I worked a lot, Rhonda. I used to go in for like 9:30, 10, okay, sometimes 11 if I was really pushing it. I never left there before 7. And there were many evenings, if there were events, that I would go to. As you know, we would see each other at so many. So there is that side of it is a bit of a relief. I'm like, okay, I spent a lot of time on that, and now I should take some time on me and on my family and on creating something that I'm really passionate about. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And the second act project is that I want everybody to head on over to Jamie's site. We miss you, we love you, and we are anxious to follow you on your second act project. It's on Instagram, and there is a website. I was just on there. So is there a Facebook page?
There is a Facebook page. The Facebook page is my public page, Jamie Orchard, and I'm posting all of the stuff from the site on there. And yeah, so we've got Instagram, the website, and Facebook.
All right. So thank you for coming on and keep doing what you're doing. We're anxious to see your second act.
Thank you, Rhonda. Thanks
Have a
so
great
much.
day.
You too.